comes forward. And we're just about set. Red light is on. Can Grand Reserve get over? They're racing. And Great Fortune got a fly start, is leading early on. Hoist the Colours is right up there today, first up. And then came Grand Reserve starting to slide across. Caught out wide at the moment, though. Soldanel is down on the inside, and Famous Dane is just behind them as Grand Reserve tries to get outside of Great Fortune, but it's still out for it. 3 wide as Hoist the Colours pushes up in the centre. Now it looks like it's going to get over. 2 lengths away, Border Force caught out 3 wide. Then Kenny Jack the centre. On the inside, Megami, a length and a half, Pagey's turn. And Kazkazi's back last of all. They're about to lead the back straight at the 1,000, and the 2 favourites set it up with the favourite in front, finding the rail. Great Fortune for Pike leads a half. On the outside is Chris Parnham with Grand Reserve running second. A length and a quarter to Soldanel, who's box seating on the inside with a shadow roll. And then came Hoist the Colours, 2 to Famous Dane, who travelled up into 5th place. Down on the inside is Megami, and then came Border Force, Kenny Jack, Pagey's turn, and Kazkazi is back last of all before the corner. 500 metres to go. It's been an aggressive ride from Pike. He snuck away with Great Fortune. Grand Reserve is giving chase, and then Soldanel. Some of these are off the bit. Further back, Famous Dane, who gets to the outside now in the straight. 300 to go. Great Fortune going strongly, leads by 2 1/4. Soldanel's getting up on the inside of Grand Reserve. Famous Dane is just battling on at the moment, and then came Border Force, but Great Fortune is a mile out in front. It's about 4 clear. Holding down second for the moment is Grand Reserve. Getting busy late, Famous Dane, and also Border Force, but Great Fortune's absolutely bolted home, won by 5 lengths. Second home Grand Reserve, third the outside Border Force, and fourth in Famous Dane. And then Soldanel, who couldn't come on, followed by Megami, Kenny Jack, Hoist the Colours, and the last 2 were Kazkazi and Pagey's turn. It's bolted in. Great Fortune at $2. Very well backed over the last couple of days, and the grey gets home for Willie Pike. Straight to the front. Grand Reserve had to do a bit of work as it came across. That first 400 was a bit of a lung buster. Eventually got to second. Hoist the Colours was the fly in the ointment for a little while there, for a furlong and a half. One of the roughies. It's ended up finishing back in the field, but Border Force has run home fairly on the outside. And in fact has got up to run second here. So it's 10, 8, 2 and 6. 10, 8, 2 and 6, with Great Fortune beating Border Force, Grand Reserve and Famous Dane back into 4th place. But a very comfortable win here to Great Fortune. 136, 1, 2, 35, 27, 4 1/4 by nose, 4 1/4 by nose, 10, 8, 2 and 6. So Border Force on the outside, but the angler has got the photo for second. I was pretty sure Grand Reserve had held on, but the outside horse has got it, Border Force. Famous Dane plugged away, and the others were really off the bit from about the 600 metre mark, and they just couldn't get into the race. And Soldanel, who raced on speed, has faded in the end and went back to 5th after being 3rd around the corner and poking up on the inside of Grand Reserve. So we'll head downstairs, and Lockie will be having a chat to the winning connections.
Thanks, Rich. And now joined by winning trainer David Harrison. Harrow, Great Fortune, that is some win. That might just be win of the day. Did that almost come as a surprise? I know the horse was the favourite, but he won with a leg in the air.
He did. Well, I mean, his last win was huge when he was wide all the way, and I think he's a bit of a one batter. So I said to Pike, he's a bit of a one pacer. So you know, just ride in that way. If he can get to the front, that'll be great. But when he started sliding away at the 600, I thought, well, that's unlike you, Pikey. What are you doing? But he must knew what he was doing.
He clearly did in the end, because the horse absolutely donkey licked them. The way he was so strong through the line, do you envisage that he can get out further in trip? I know not under your care, but he has won over 1,700 and 2,000 previously.
Yeah, well, I think last time when he won the 14, that was the shortest he's ever won over. So, yeah, you'd think just keep stepping him up, see what Pikey says.
Behind the scenes, what has he shown you? Has he always shown you not only above average ability, but aerobically a capacity to really take his work and run them into the ground in the manner in which he did today?
Yeah, well, he's always been pretty easy to ride and everything, and pretty easy to hand and to train. Like, he's just a big casual fellow, you know, like, yeah, nothing's too much for him. So, yeah, he's a great little horse to handle, yeah.
What do you do with him now? Do you quickly go to 2,000, or do you just keep him at the mile knowing that at the mile, he was able to find the front with relative ease and run them into the ground.
I think I'll be guided by Pikey. I mean, he knows what he's doing, so I'll be guided by whatever he says, you know.
It's a smart man to follow. Well done on the win.
I don't know. Thanks, buddy. Ta-ta.
There's David Harrison after the win of Great Fortune, and Willie Pike, he looks absolutely ecstatic, and I can understand why. That was just an armchair ride. He found the front, and from there, Great Fortune, he was very dominant.
He certainly was, Lockie. That you're right. It's probably one of the lowest graded races we'll see here today, a 60-plus graduation over a mile, but it's probably aesthetically the most pleasing win we're going to see. It was very dominant from out in front, and the punters were all over it too. 380 Thursday morning, even money Saturday afternoon. So plenty of people there followed the grey in, followed Willie Pike in, and collected. But we'll grab a word from Willie Pike after the victory of Great Fortune. Willie, obviously last start he had to do it the tradesman's way, and today he skipped right away from them.
Yeah, he did. But Dave's pretty adamant he's a bit of a one-pacer, so I know my idea was to try and get going a little bit, but the horse probably we got going a lot more than I intended, and then I was well and truly committed, so we just went with it. And yeah, I didn't expect him to be able to win by that margin, but it was his idea, and I think he enjoyed it.
He almost looks like he's fierce when he's racing, like he wants to go quicker, and basically he would do anything you said.
Early he doesn't want to go, and then sort of later I'm sort of debating with him whether or not we slow down. I don't know, I'm just enjoying the ride with him. That's 2 wins, and it's just nice to pick up a horse like that this late in the season.
2 very different wins, and Harrow was saying he was going to ask you, does he stay at a mile or does he go out and trip?
I'll ask him. He's the one training him. I only turn up on race day. I really don't know.
As long as he keeps winning, doesn't matter, does it?
That's right. I suppose it's one of those things you have to try. The races do tend to sort of stay pretty easy once you get over a certain distance, mile 18 or further. The pickings can be easier sometimes, so maybe it's a good move to do that, but he just won by 5 over a mile, so did he need to?
Sit up and smile for the camera. Well done.
Thanks.
There's Willie Pike combining with David Harrison, and Willie Pike to take out the 7th here at Belmont Park, as our attention now goes to the 5th at Mount Magnet, where there's only 2 minutes of betting time remaining, and Rowie Clam is at $3.20 with Rocking the Merc at $3.80. Riley, how did you order them at Mount Magnet?
Yes, a couple of minutes away from start time there, Lockie, so we'll fly through these. I was with the one, Rowie Clam, on top, who drew the widest barrier at Carnarvon on Cup Day last weekend. He sat off the track throughout in running. He travelled into it the winner and took over on straightening despite the work that he was made to do in transit. He backs up off 7 days. He'll roll forward. He's tough, and I think he'll take beating once again. From the 5 deal obtained, I think is the key danger. Really well targeted in betting by some sharp punters when victorious at Broome over the mile last time out. Has been given a month between runs, back to 1,400 metres, and carries no weight on his back after the claim for Christo Sardelic. Don't mind how this race looks to map out for him as a big horse who can push forward, hold a position and sustain